Stop caring about what isn't yours. Epictetus' secret to freedom. What if I told you that most of your suffering comes from caring about things that were never yours to control? Think about it. How much energy do we waste worrying about what others think of us? How often do we feel paralyzed by situations we can't change, outcomes we can't predict, and people we can't control? Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher and former slave, believed this was the root of human misery. And his solution was brutally simple: stop caring about what isn't yours. Now, this might sound harsh at first. How can you just stop caring? Isn't caring what makes us human? But Epictetus wasn't telling us to stop feeling or to become indifferent to life. What he taught was far more profound. He believed that the key to freedom, the kind of inner peace we all crave, comes from understanding one crucial truth. There are only two types of things in life: the things you can control and the things you can't. Let's break this down. What's within your control? According to Epictetus, the answer is surprisingly simple: your thoughts, your actions, and your choices. That's it. Everything else, what other people think, what they do, how the future unfolds, even your own body, is outside your control. These things may affect your life, but they don't belong to you. And the more you care about them, the more you give away your power. So let me ask you, how much of your life is spent worrying about things you can't control? Maybe you're stressed about how someone perceives you, or you're obsessing over whether a plan will work out perfectly. Maybe you're frustrated by the actions of someone close to you. But here's the hard truth: none of those things are yours to control. And by caring about them, by letting them consume your mind, you're chaining yourself to a prison of your own making. Imagine this: you're holding a rope, and on the other end of the rope is a giant boulder. You're pulling with all your strength, trying to move it. But no matter how hard you try, the boulder doesn't budge. It's too heavy. Now, Epictetus would ask you, why are you holding the rope in the first place? Why are you exhausting yourself over something that isn't yours to move? This is what happens when we care too much about what isn't ours. We waste our energy on things we can't change, and in doing so, we neglect the one thing we can control ourselves.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
But here's the good news: the moment you let go of that rope, the moment you stop caring about what isn't yours, you set yourself free. Free from stress, free from frustration, free from the endless cycle of trying to control the uncontrollable. Let me ask you another question. What are you holding on to right now that isn't yours? Maybe it's someone else's opinion of you. Maybe it's a situation you can't change. Whatever it is, imagine what it would feel like to let it go, to stop worrying about it, to focus instead on what you can control: your mindset, your actions, your response. This isn't easy. Letting go feels scary at first, because we're so used to clinging to things, convincing ourselves that if we just try harder, we can make everything work out the way we want. But Epictetus would tell you that true strength comes not from holding on, but from knowing what to let go of. The invisible chains: how caring about the wrong things steals your freedom. Let's get real for a moment. How often do you feel trapped, not by physical barriers, but by invisible chains? These chains are the things you care about that you have no control over. They're the opinions of others, the unpredictable future, the actions of people around you, and the endless stream of what-ifs that haunt your mind. And here's the hard truth: the more you care about these things, the tighter those chains become. Epictetus believed that most of our suffering comes not from the events of life themselves, but from the way we react to them. He taught us that it's not the external world that binds us, it's our attachment to it. The opinions of others only hurt you if you let them. The unpredictable twists of life only ruin your peace if you resist them. The actions of others only frustrate you if you expect them to behave a certain way. Think about your own life. How often do you hand over your freedom by letting external things control you? Maybe it's the way someone criticizes you at work, or a stranger's rude comment that lingers in your mind for hours. Maybe it's the endless scrolling on social media, where you compare your life to the carefully curated images of others. But here's the thing, none of those things are yours. They don't belong to you. And yet, you let them dictate your emotions, your energy, and your peace. Let me ask you, why do we care so much about what isn't ours? Part of the answer is fear. We fear rejection, failure, and uncertainty. We fear being misunderstood or left behind. But Epictetus would remind us that fear itself is rooted in attachment. We fear losing what we think we need: approval, control, certainty, but the truth is, we don't need any of it. Imagine you're walking through a storm. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring, and you're getting soaked. You have two choices: you can fight the storm, yelling at the sky, trying to push the wind back with your hands, or you can accept it. You can put on a coat, keep walking, and let the storm pass. The storm is outside your control, but how you respond to it is entirely up to you. This is the essence of freedom, according to Epictetus. Freedom isn't about controlling the storm, it's about letting go of the need to control it. It's about recognizing that the storm isn't yours, and it never was. But let's take this deeper. When you care about what isn't yours, you're not just giving away your peace, you're giving away your power. Every time you let someone else's opinion dictate your mood, you're handing them control over your life. Every time you obsess over an outcome, you're letting the future steal your present. Every time you attach your happiness to something external, you're building your own prison. Here's a question to reflect on: what would your life look like if you stopped caring about things you can't control? What if you let go of the need to be liked, the need to have everything go your way, the need to control the uncontrollable? How much lighter would you feel? Epictetus believed that this kind of detachment isn't just a pathway to peace, it's a pathway to power. When you stop caring about what isn't yours, you reclaim your energy, your focus, and your freedom. You stop being a victim of the world around you and start taking responsibility for the one thing you truly own: yourself. But let's be clear, detachment doesn't mean indifference. It doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world or refusing to care about anything. It means caring deeply about the right things, your actions, your values, and the way you show up in the world. It means focusing your energy on what you can control and letting go of everything else. So, let me ask you again, what are the invisible chains you're carrying right now? And what would it take to break them? The answer isn't out there in the world, it's within you. The moment you stop caring about what isn't yours, those chains will fall away. The art of letting go, how to focus on what you can control. Let's be honest, letting go of what isn't yours is one of the hardest things to do. We're wired to care. We care about how people see us, about the outcomes of our efforts, about everything we think we need to feel secure and happy. But here's the irony: the more we care about things outside our control, the less control we actually have over our lives. Epictetus believed that true freedom comes when we master the art of letting go, when we stop clinging to what isn't ours and focus entirely on what is. So how do we do that? How do we stop caring about the things that weigh us down and redirect our energy toward the things we can control? The first step is clarity. You need to draw a clear line between what's yours and what isn't. Let's break it down. What's yours? Your thoughts, your actions, your choices. That's it. Everything else, the way people treat you, the outcomes of your efforts, even the weather, is beyond your control. It's not yours, and it never was. But here's the trap: we confuse influence with control. Yes, you can influence certain things. Your performance might influence a promotion at work, or your kindness might influence how someone treats you. But influence is not the same as control. You can do everything right and still not get the outcome you want. Epictetus reminds us that the key to peace is focusing on the process, not the outcome. Ask yourself, am I putting my energy into the things I can do, or am I wasting it worrying about things I can't? For example, if you're preparing for a big presentation, your focus should be on your preparation, how well you've researched, how clearly you'll communicate, not on whether your audience will like you. The audience's reaction isn't yours. Your preparation is. But here's where it gets tricky. Even when we know this intellectually, our emotions often pull us in the opposite direction. We get anxious, frustrated, or discouraged because we're still attached to the things we can't control. So how do we break that attachment? The answer is acceptance. Epictetus believed that acceptance is the foundation of freedom. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means seeing reality as it is, not as you wish it were. When you accept that some things are outside your control, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil they cause. You stop fighting the storm and start navigating it. Let me ask you, what's one thing in your life right now that you're struggling to accept? Maybe it's a relationship that isn't going the way you hoped, or a goal that feels out of reach. Whatever it is, take a moment to ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, then what would happen if you let it go? Not in a way that means giving up, but in a way that means freeing yourself from the need to control it. Epictetus also reminds us that letting go isn't a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Every day, life will present you with new challenges, new uncertainties, and new opportunities to care about things that aren't yours. And every day you'll have to choose, will you cling to those things or will you let them go? Here's a simple exercise you can try the next time you feel stressed or anxious. Pause and ask yourself 2 questions. First, is this within my control? Second, what's the best action I can take right now? If it's not within your control, let it go. If it is, take action and then let go of the outcome. This is the art of letting go, focusing entirely on what you can do and releasing everything else. It's not about caring less, it's about caring smarter. It's about investing your energy in the things that truly matter, the things that are truly yours. So let me ask you again, what would your life look like if you focused only on what you can control? Imagine how much lighter you'd feel, how much more energy you'd have, and how much more peace you'd experience. That kind of freedom is possible. It's not easy, but it's worth it. The freedom within how letting go transforms your life. Let's imagine a life where you fully embraced the wisdom of Epictetus, a life where you no longer waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. What does that look like? It's not a life without challenges, disappointments, or uncertainty. Those things will always be there. But it's a life where those challenges no longer weigh you down, where disappointments don't rob you of your peace, and where uncertainty feels less like a threat and more like an adventure. This is the freedom Epictetus promised, a freedom that doesn't come from changing the world around you, but from changing the way you relate to it. Because here's the truth, it's not the world that binds you. It's your attachment to it. Think about how much lighter you'd feel if you stopped carrying the weight of things that were never yours to begin with. Imagine letting go of your need to control what others think of you. Imagine releasing your obsession with outcomes, your frustration with the past, and your anxiety about the future. What would you have left? Yourself, your choices, your power, But here's the paradox: when you stop caring about the things you can't control, you don't stop caring about life. You actually start living it more fully. Why? Because you're no longer distracted by things that don't matter. You're no longer wasting your energy on futile battles. Instead, you're focused entirely on what's within your power: your actions, your values, your ability to respond to life with strength and clarity. Let me ask you, how much of your life are you missing because you're too busy worrying about things you can't change? Maybe it's an argument with someone you can't let go of, or a mistake you keep replaying in your head. Maybe it's a fear of failure that keeps you from taking risks. Whatever it is, it's stealing your present moment. And the present moment is all you ever really have. This is what letting go gives you: the ability to be fully present. When you stop clinging to the past or grasping at the future, you free yourself to experience life as it is, right now. You notice things you used to overlook: the warmth of the sun, the laughter of a friend, the quiet joy of simply being alive. You're no longer living in a state of resistance. You're living in a state of flow. But here's the deeper transformation: letting go doesn't just change how you experience life, it changes who you are. When you stop caring about what isn't yours, you become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the author of your own story. Epictetus believed that this kind of inner freedom was the ultimate goal of life. He taught that true happiness doesn't come from external success, wealth, or approval. It comes from living in harmony with your nature, from focusing on what you can control and letting everything else go. So, how do you cultivate this freedom in your own life? Start small. Each day, look for opportunities to let go. When someone criticizes you, remind yourself that their opinion isn't yours to control. When a plan falls apart, focus on what you can do next instead of dwelling on what went wrong. When fear or frustration arises, ask yourself, is this mine, or can I let it go? And remember, this isn't about perfection. There will be times when you slip, when you care too much about what isn't yours, when you cling to things you know you should release. That's okay. Letting go is a practice, not a destination. The more you practice, the freer you'll become. So, let me leave you with one final question: what's one thing you can let go of today? It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's a worry, a grudge, or a need for approval. Whatever it is, take a deep breath and let it go. Feel the weight lift. Feel the freedom that comes from focusing only on what's truly yours. Because in the end, this is the secret to life that Epictetus wanted us to understand: you can't control the world, but you can control how you live in it. And when you stop caring about what isn't yours, you discover the incredible power of what is.